Hi, good afternoon everyone. It's 3 o'clock in the UK and 10 a.m. EDT, and welcome today to this Data Quality Pro webinar. We're delighted to be joined by John Talbot, Professor and Coordinator at the University of Arkansas in Little Rock. And today we're going to be talking about the Information Quality Program at the UALR. And John has kindly agreed to come on today and answer your questions as well. So I've got a few questions I want to put to John. And the reason for doing this session today is that increasingly on Data Quality Pro, and I've seen on other forums as well, the question regarding education and certification is increasingly cropping up. And there's obviously lots of different options out there now, and the Information Quality Program at UALR is obviously one of the most, I think, well respected in the industry, and certainly in terms of the curriculum and the people on board there. It's got a lot of profile, and I just wanted to sort of talk about that a little bit today, and obviously talk about how it can benefit some of our members and other people in the data quality community. So, welcome, John. Thanks for coming on the session today.
Well, thanks for inviting me, Dylan. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk about our program.
Fantastic. And just so people can get to know you a little bit better, can you just explain a little bit about your personal background and the role you have on the IQ program at UALR?
Certainly. Well, I've been in the academia and industry sort of back and forth for many years. My degree is actually in mathematics, and like so many people, and back a few years, as computing was really beginning to grow, I got into it and ended up being a chair of computer science department, and was drafted from that position by Axiom Corporation, which has it's a large data management company headquartered here in Little Rock, Arkansas. Worked for them several years, and that's where I began to get into the whole issue of data and information quality. That they were trying to implement a lot of metrics and governance, and trying to position themselves as leaders in information quality. And it's also when I became affiliated with the MIT Information Quality Program. Dr. Richard Wang, who directs that, came to Axiom at my request and spoke to us and helped us get our program started there. And as a result of that collaboration, and through the help of the company leader for Axiom at that time, Charles Morgan, who was very interested in promoting education in that area, we came up with a plan to start a graduate program in information quality, the first one ever. The MIT program was primarily a professional outreach program, and so Dr. Wang was very anxious to see a real academic program started. So our dean, Mary Good, here at UALR of the Engineering and Information Technology College, was willing to sponsor it. So in 2005, I came back to the university here, and we created initially a master's program in information quality and launched it in 2006. And so we've been actively teaching in the program, offering the program since then for the last 4 years. So we're just entering our 5th year.
Fantastic. Okay, thank you for that introduction, John. And for anyone on the session today, if you do have a question, there's a couple of ways you can post that in. There's a questions tab on your browser there. There's also a chat tab as well. So I'll be monitoring those throughout the session. So if you have any questions, please feel free to post on there, and we'll slip those into the discussion today. So I guess we should really start, John, by looking at the various education options you've got within the UALR and how they're structured. There's 3 options, is that right?
Yes, that's correct. We initially began with a Master of Science program, which we still have, the Master of Science in Information Quality. And it's a 33-hour program which translates into basically 9 courses plus either a thesis or a project. And that that program takes, if you're a full-time student taking 3 courses a semester, then that translates into about a year and a half. Of course, we have many part-time students many professional who are working and taking courses at the same time, and so it usually takes them a little longer. To accommodate that, a couple of years ago we added another option, which is a graduate certificate in information quality. And basically that's just the first 4 courses of the master's program. So we tried to articulate it in a way that if someone wanted to enter in the graduate certificate program, then after taking 4 courses they could be awarded a graduate certificate, and then if they wanted to continue, all of those courses would apply toward their master's program. We also added a little over a year ago an information quality option within one of our PhD programs here at Little Rock. We have a new PhD program in integrated computing, and we placed an information quality track into that program, so students can actually continue beyond their master's and go into the PhD program. We've had about, since we started the program, of course the master's is the older, and we've had a little more than 30 graduates from that program, and several that have gotten their certificate, and we've so far, last May we had our first 2 PhD graduates.
Fantastic. Okay, and in terms of I'm just going through some of the course items there. Are there any practical elements to the education?
Yes, when we started the master's program, there are a couple of elements there. One is that we wanted it to be a combination of information quality specific kinds of courses and also IT related courses. So if you look at the course structure, we have the IQ courses. We cover things like obviously the principles of information quality, which is the gateway. We also have information quality policy and strategy, and total quality management, case studies, project management for information quality, and information quality tools. But along with that, we also have requirements for, we have a information visualization course students are required to take, along with some systems analysis and database. In addition to trying to balance the coursework between information quality specific and information technology courses, the students have the option of completing the master's with either a thesis, which is basically a research paper, or a practical project, which has to be sponsored by some organization external to the school. And about 95% of our students go the project route, which I think is a good thing. And we've had some really, really great projects that students have done for various government agencies here and private businesses. In one case, we had a student he did his project for the Department of Information Systems, which is the IT arm of the state government here, and specifically worked on their billing cost recovery for communications that they provided. And his boss came to his defense and told everyone, stated that his work had been instrumental in saving the agency $2 million a year in their cost recovery. So we've had some great success stories with our projects.
Fantastic. It's good to see the theoretical meeting the practical there. Then I think that probably appeal to a lot of people, wouldn't it? I think trying to take what they're learning and apply it to those kind of environments. So obviously, I guess connected with the practical element of the courses, and can people do remote learning or distance learning? Is that an option on the courses?
Yes, it is. Since we are the only university in the United States, I guess in North America, that offers graduate degrees in information quality, we feel that we need to make it as accessible as possible. So the second year of the program in 2007, we started a distance education component. Now, there are many approaches to distance education, which you're probably aware of, but the option that we selected is what we call live webcasting. So rather than creating a separate curriculum for the distance, what we decided to do was all of our courses that are offered here on campus that are regularly scheduled and have a classroom are all set up with audiovisual equipment and high-speed internet connection, so that when, for example, when I go in to teach my course in the evening, my principles of information quality, I log into that system. It's through what's called the WIMBA Live Classroom, which is a product from Blackboard. And so the students who are enrolled as remote students come into the WIMBA Live Classroom, and they interact with me and the students who are here on campus. So it's a live interaction. It's a desktop sharing, very much like what we're on today, and it does have the two-way audio as well. And also those webcasts are archived for students that miss them or want to go back and review them. And we found that it works really well.
So the people who do the remote learning, they're actually engaging at the same time as your in-house students, I guess?
Yes, that's correct. Now, the only caveat to that is that obviously for some time zones that's not very convenient for people. It does work better in the Near East, I'm sorry, the Far East, and of course here in the Western Hemisphere. We have a couple of students in Brazil, and we've had some students in other locations. We currently have students right now in Europe and Africa. It is not as convenient for them because most of our classes are webcast here at local time is about 6 p.m. in the evening, and that falls in the early morning hours for most of Europe. But we do have people that do that by either occasionally coming in live or mostly working through the archived or the recorded presentations.
Oh, I see. So they can get the education on demand, I guess,
yes.
and
yes.
Which obviously is attractive in its own right, I guess. So, what are the admission requirements then for the various different levels of education you've got on offer there?
Okay, well, it is a graduate program, so we do require that the students have a bachelor's degree. We don't require it to be in any particular area, though. We think of information quality as very interdisciplinary, and we've had students from degrees in English and anthropology and various things, although the majority do come to us from either business information systems programs or computer science type programs, but it's not required. We do, though, ask that they have some background in database and programming, not so much that they are programmers or database administrators, but obviously we feel that you have to understand that in order to relate to most information quality problems and strategies. We also like for students to have had some coursework in statistics because that also plays a role as well. So if you have a bachelor's degree in any area, have some background in statistics, programming, database, and have at least a 3-point grade point average, then you can be eligible for admission. We also ask that the students, if they don't already have a graduate degree or graduate work, do have to take the graduate record examination, the GRE exam. Also, if students maybe don't have all of that, for example, maybe their GPA was a little bit lower, or they didn't have any formal coursework, they can still be admitted conditionally to the program and do remediation in those areas by taking some undergraduate courses. Now, that's for the master's degree. Another thing that we've done to try to accommodate students is that if you apply for the graduate certificate program, you still have to have the bachelor's degree, but it doesn't require taking the graduate record exam, the GRE. And so as a segue into the program, if you enter through the graduate certificate program and perform well, a 3.5 grade point average, then you can have an automatic admission into the master's program again without having to sit for the graduate record exam.
Okay, I see several different options there. Then, one question, just while we're on this admission requirements topic, a question coming in from one of our members on the session today: is TOEFL needed for international students? I guess is that the teaching English as a foreign language certification or something?
Yes, yes, for countries where English is not the primary language, the graduate school does require that they take the TOEFL exam.
Okay, yeah, I'll post that one through. Okay, so I guess the next question then is, you talked about people in Brazil and obviously the international elements of it, but in terms of the type of people, their backgrounds, professional backgrounds, what type of people do you typically see on the courses? Are they biased towards the technology side or the business side? And yes, I suppose should we answer that question first? What type of background are people you actually seeing coming through?
Exactly. Well, actually, I've seen that change. When we first started the program in 2006, really almost all of the students applying for it were working professionals. And I think the reason for that is that there's hasn't been any formal education and information quality from the university standpoint. Of course, I know there's a lot of professional type of training, but from a university accredited education, there just wasn't anything. So there was a huge pent-up demand of people, I think, who were already working in areas related to information data quality, and so they immediately wanted to come in and sort of validate the work that they were doing. And those people, of course, came from a lot of different backgrounds, many of them from an IT background as well. And what we're seeing now is that we're getting more and more traditional students, students who are coming out of undergraduate work and haven't been working or only have worked a couple of years, looking at it now as a career option. And so I would say now it's getting close to a 50-50 mix of professional working students and traditional full-time students. And again, as far as the background, probably a third. We see about 1/3 coming out of computer science, information science kinds of programs, another third coming out of business, information systems, management information systems, but a large number coming out of other backgrounds, be it science or non-science.
Oh, that's interesting then to see the split coming through there. And how, when you're speaking to people who've been through the various courses, how are they benefiting from the education they've received?
Well, one thing, they're getting jobs, which is very good. Of course, some of them already have jobs and they're able to use their degree as a way to advance, but a lot of them, once they get the education and the degree, go on and take positions that I'm seeing more and more available. We just yesterday I got a call from one of our students just finishing up who took a job with a large pharmaceutical company in Dallas as a data quality analyst there. And I see more and more jobs that are clearly designated as information quality related coming open, and so the students are finding those jobs, and they're really excited about it. I think, of course, I don't give you any of my lectures that I give in class, but it really is true. I think that, you know, when we said we were entering the information age several years ago, I think what we really meant to say is we were getting into the technology age. I think it's really only in the last few years that we're really focusing on information and giving it parity with programming and algorithms. And so I see there's going to be a huge growth, not just in information quality, but information-focused programs. I see more and more information science departments, even information colleges and universities being started. So I think people now are really focusing, and I think it's another reason that we get so many students out of other areas that are not formally trained IT, but they're working daily with information systems, and they understand you know, the poor condition that so many of them are in.
You know, yeah, I think I have to agree with you. You know, I spend a lot of time speaking to members of our community, and it always surprises me the backgrounds people have come through. And yeah, whereas it used to be, I guess, I mean, it was the traditional kind of technology route, I think it's really encouraging to see so many different, like say, statistical backgrounds and sort of change management and, you know, organizational theory and all these different kind of areas kind of drifting into information quality and this kind of area, because it impacts so many different programs of work which are going on. So in terms of the you know, the final certification or the grading, if you like, of students who have been through the programs, how does that vary to kind of other industry, you know, under other industry programs now? It's a common question we seem to be seeing a lot of on the forums. Is, you know, which certification should I go down? What are the options out there? So how does the program you deliver at UALR, how does that differ to some of the other kind of industry standards that are emerging?
Well, sure. Again, there's a lot of professional education. Matter of fact, as I said earlier, our program really started out of the MIT professional education. Dr. Wang was generous enough to provide all of the intellectual property that he had developed in teaching his professional outreach courses at MIT. But those courses primarily offer certificates of completion. Basically, it's just attesting to whoever offered those courses that they successfully completed. So I guess the main difference in our graduate certificate, not necessarily that it delivers any better content, but that it is an accredited degree. So it is a graduate certificate in that the courses the students take, not only do they get a paper certificate, that those courses go on their transcripts and are transferable to any other accredited university. So it does represent graduate coursework as opposed to just a certificate of completion.
I see. So I guess the big difference there is obviously it's more academically relevant as well. Obviously, it's obviously relevant to industry and employers, and I guess it carries more weight in many ways than to help you go on and do further education, but also and increasingly, I think, you know, having worked on the business side, where recruiting staff to complete information quality tasks, I think, yeah, increasingly there is a need for this this kind of benchmark to grade people and because it's very quite often experience is subjective, whereas if they've gone through this kind of a formal education.
Yeah. But let me add to that, Dale. I'm sorry to interrupt, but again, I'm not positioning ours as the best or the only. I think there is a role. As a matter of fact, I'm an advisor to the International Association for Information and Data Quality that I'm sure many of our listeners are familiar with, the IIDQ. And one of the initiatives that they're working on, which I think is really great, is a certification in information quality. and I believe there are roles for those. I hold right now, I'm a certified data management professional offered through DAMA and ICCP. So I think certifications and certificates are good as a way to validate that you've made an attempt and have gained a certain level and amount of knowledge. It's just all boils down to what you need, and there may be a lot of people that don't need the graduate level certificate, but others that it could be very helpful for.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, but we've been following the IAIDQ developments quite closely, so hopefully we'll have that to add to the kind of educational mix as well. So how long does it take to complete? Sorry, when I say how long, how often do you run the courses then? Is it by semester or?
Yes, the UALR is on a traditional North American semester schedule. We're just beginning the fall semester right now. The classes began last Thursday, I believe, and the fall semester runs from August through the 1st of December. We take off in December. Then we have a spring semester that runs from January to about the 1st of May. And then there's a summer semester, although we don't typically offer the lecture courses during the summer. Most students work on their projects during the summer. So a full-time load for a full-time student is 3 courses or 9 hours. So to get the 27 hours for the master's takes about 3 semesters. So we're really set up, if students enter in the fall, then they can be completed by the end of the next fall, about 18 months. The graduate certificate, again, can be completed in 2 semesters. A lot of part-time students take 2 courses in the fall and 2 courses in the spring, and that completes their certificate. The PhD, though, typically takes 4 to 5 years beyond the bachelor's level.
I see. Okay. And I guess finally, the typical question will be, what are the costs involved for the different levels?
Sure. Well, of course, we're a state-supported school, so we have 2 rates. We have a rate for in-state students that ostensibly pay state income tax, and then we have a rate for non-resident students. So assuming most of our listeners would fall into the non-resident or out-of-state category. So for a non-resident student, the tuition and fees that are associated with one 3-hour course run about $1,800 for one course. So to complete the 12-hour certificate, you'd be looking at about $7,300 in tuition and fees. And to complete a full 33 hours of the master's program, you'd be looking at right at $20,000.
I see. Okay, fantastic.
And again, that's for a non-resident. So the resident, it's considerably cheaper. If you want to move to Arkansas and establish residence, you can get your master's for less than $10,000.
Well, I think that's certainly something to consider, isn't it? I think
it's a beautiful place. It's the natural state.
Yeah, so I've heard. So we're just coming up on half an hour now, so it's probably a good point to kind of wrap things up. If there are any questions outstanding, I'm just grabbing a quick poll now onto the site. Does anyone else have any more questions? Got a few seconds to get those in before we wrap these things up. But what I'll do, I will post the session on demand on the website anyway, and if anyone has any further questions after the webinar is posted on demand, then please sort of submit the questions into the comment section there, and I'll forward those on to John, and I'm sure if there's anything when you get some time, you can add his feedback on there. But thank you ever so much for your time today, John. It's an area that is obviously increasingly attractive to many professionals, so I hope we've covered a lot of ground, and thanks for your time, and it's been a pleasure having you on the session.
Well, and thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk about our program, and I hope that it's been helpful for the people participating today.
I'm sure it has. Thank you, John. Take care.
All right, thank you.